Because true value isn't loud. It's felt in silence, in stillness, in reflection. What you gave her wasn't flashy. It was real. While he tries to impress with shallow charm, you showed your worth through action, steady, reliable, present, even when things got difficult. That kind of consistency is rare and unforgettable. Familiarity doesn't always breed contempt. Sometimes it breeds longing. Once someone has experienced something genuine, everything else feels like a cheap imitation. He might keep her entertained, but surface-level thrills don't satisfy the soul. It's like drinking salt water. More show than substance, leaving her emptier each time. As Stoicism teaches, true power comes from within. You never sought her approval or played games to win her affection. You stayed true to your principles. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." You didn't compete, you simply stayed grounded, and that quiet confidence left its mark. The difference will become clear. His charm, his efforts to impress, they'll start to feel forced. While he struggles to hold her attention, the memory of your calm strength will only grow stronger. You didn't need her to feel complete. You had already found fulfillment in yourself. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." While he battles insecurity and ego, you've chosen stillness and discipline. You've mastered what most never do. Control over your emotions, your thoughts, your actions. Eventually, she'll see the gap. His novelty will wear off. The cracks in his character will show. And in contrast, your authenticity, your depth will shine even brighter in her memory. Because real connection isn't about excitement. It's about presence. And what you offered wasn't just attention. It was something real, unshaken, quietly powerful. And once she realizes that, the longing will begin, not for what he brings, but for what she let go of in you. Number 11. When she seeks refuge, you stand firm. Eventually, she'll reach out. Not because you begged or chased her, not because you manipulated her emotions, but because your presence remained steady and unaffected. You didn't compromise your integrity or abandon your values to win her back. Instead, you stayed grounded, calm, composed, and true to yourself. Your strength wasn't loud or performative. It was lived. Through the silence and distance, you continued your journey, unshaken by emotions, unswayed by the need for validation. And she noticed a stoic man doesn't bend for approval. He attracts through unwavering character. While others morphed to meet expectations, you stayed firm. Her absence didn't derail your progress. It refined your focus. You chose growth, not desperation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And you kept living. You pursued your goals, sharpened your discipline, and stayed committed to self-mastery, not for her, but for yourself. So when she reaches out, it won't be because you lured her back. It'll be because she saw the difference. The contrast between your calm steadiness and his emotional chaos will be undeniable. Seneca said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable," and you embodied that. You didn't let rejection define you. You stayed rooted in who you are. When she returns, it won't be because you begged. It'll be because you let go, because you stood tall when it would have been easier to crumble. That's what sets you apart. You never needed her to validate you. Your worth was never tied to her attention, and that quiet strength, it lingers. It leaves an impression that outlasts excitement, charm, or games. When she seeks something real, she'll remember where to find it. Not in someone who chased her, but in the man who didn't need to. You remained constant, rooted, whole, and that's what draws her back. Not manipulation, but mastery. As we conclude this journey, it's clear that what truly defines us isn't just how we handle moments of comfort, but how we stand in times of challenge. Today, we delve deep into why superficial allure fades and the enduring power of a grounded stoic presence. Reflecting on these lessons, it's evident that the difference between fleeting excitement and lasting peace lies in our response to life's inevitable tests. Through each point discussed, we've seen how the allure of something new can quickly dissolve, revealing the true value of consistency, depth, and emotional maturity. Remember, it's not the loudness of one's presence, but the quiet, steadfast strength that leaves the most profound impact. Let this video serve as a reminder that your worth isn't measured by others' recognition, but by your unwavering commitment to your principles. As Marcus Aurelius taught us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. So let your life be your statement, not just a reaction to the actions of others. Now I turn to you, the viewers. What did you find most valuable in today's exploration? Which of the points resonated with you, and how do you see yourself applying these Stoic insights in your own life? Your engagement truly enriches our community. So please like this video if you found it insightful. Leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and don't forget to watch the recommended videos on the screen to continue growing and learning. Together, let's cultivate not just knowledge but wisdom. Thank you for joining me on this journey. His lack of vision will create frustration, and in that contrast, your steadiness will stand out. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." That's the truth he's living. But you've chosen your destination, and every day you move toward it. Purpose can't be faked. It radiates through your decisions, your presence, your mindset. It's magnetic, and once she's experienced that kind of grounded direction, everything else feels shallow. You don't live to impress. You live with intent. And that intent is what sets you apart. While he's drifting, you're becoming. And when she realizes that, she'll be drawn not just to your path, but to the man walking it. Number 8. Superficial. Bonds break easily. It's easy to build connections on fun and pleasure, attraction, laughter, the thrill of something new. It all feels powerful in the moment. But when real life brings storms, those paper-thin bonds fall apart. What once felt exciting dissolves, leaving behind only fragments of what never had true depth. Right now, he has her attention. He offers entertainment, distraction, the rush of instant gratification, fun nights, flirtatious texts, light-hearted charm. But when pleasure is the only thread tying two people together, it unravels the moment pressure sets in. True intimacy requires more than excitement. It requires patience, emotional depth, and a willingness to engage beyond the surface. Most men avoid that because it demands vulnerability. That's where he falters. You, however, approach connection differently. You understand that real bonds aren't built in moments of fun. They're built over time through shared experience, trust, and mutual respect. You're not focused on impressing. You're focused on understanding. His connection with her is built on thrills. Yours is grounded in authenticity. He chases moments of validation. You invest in meaningful presence. You don't avoid the difficult conversations or the vulnerable moments. You embrace them because you know real connection demands it. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." While he seeks endless stimulation to keep her interested, you offer her something rare: security, honesty, and depth. She may not see it right away. The novelty with him may feel exciting at first, but as time passes and life gets real, the emptiness will surface, and she'll remember your calm presence, your steady understanding, your ability to hold space for both joy and hardship. While he's trying to keep her entertained, you've already offered something far more valuable, something that doesn't fade when the fun ends. When his charm starts to feel shallow, she'll feel the difference. She'll be drawn back to the fire you quietly built. One that doesn't just spark, but endures. Because true intimacy isn't about chasing excitement. It's about creating connection. And that's what you've mastered. Number 9. Emotional turbulence pushes her away. Jealousy, insecurity, and emotional volatility. These traits often appear when the initial excitement fades and reality sets in. He may seem confident when life is easy, but when challenges arise, his mask slips and what emerges isn't strength, it's instability. He becomes possessive, easily triggered, and impulsive. Minor issues turn into arguments. His insecurity leaks out as neediness, jealousy, or erratic mood swings. What once felt exciting now feels exhausting. She finds herself walking on eggshells, bracing for the next emotional outburst. What he doesn't realize is that this emotional chaos pushes her away. It makes her question his maturity, his strength, and whether he can provide the safety and stability she craves, no matter how charming he was at first. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man who can't control himself. You, on the other hand, are different. You've developed emotional discipline. Your calmness isn't apathy, it's strength. While he reacts, you reflect. While he lashes out, you remain grounded. You don't let trivial matters disturb your peace. And she feels that difference. While he creates tension with his unpredictable moods, you bring peace. While he clings out of fear, you stand steady in confidence. Your presence becomes a sanctuary, reliable, reassuring, real. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." And you've mastered that pause, the ability to breathe, assess, and respond with intention. You don't waste energy proving your worth or defending your ego. You lead with self-control, not emotional chaos. The more she experiences his instability, the more she'll crave your calm. Your emotional steadiness becomes a quiet magnet. You don't try to impress. You embody what most can't, peace in a world of noise. Because true strength isn't loud. It doesn't seek approval. It's anchored in discipline, patience, and presence. And when she compares his emotional storms to your steady resolve, the choice becomes clear. While he drowns in his own chaos, you remain the calm eye of the storm. And that more than charm or words is what she'll remember and miss. Number 10, familiarity breeds longing. In those quiet moments when she's alone with her thoughts, the comparisons will begin. Maybe it's after another broken promise from him. Maybe it's when his temper flares over something small, or maybe it's just a fleeting moment of frustration or loneliness. But eventually she'll start measuring him against you. She might not admit it, but your strength, your calm under pressure, your quiet kindness, they linger like a melody that keeps playing in the back of her mind. What if the man she chose isn't the upgrade she imagined, but the downgrade she can't yet see? What if silence and strength speak louder to her soul than 1,000 empty promises? And what if the one who remains grounded through chaos becomes the one she'll never forget? Let's dive deep into the 11 reasons why true strength isn't about chasing her. It's about becoming the man who never had to. Let her chase the illusion. Let her fall for the shiny surface, the sweet words, the excitement of something new. That new guy, he's not what she thinks, he's not you. And more importantly, he's not what she needs. Right now she thinks she's upgraded. But what she doesn't see yet is the difference between a man who impresses and a man who provides peace. And that peace, that grounded energy, that's what she walked away from. Because here's the truth. Anyone can fake it in the beginning. Anyone can be charming for a few weeks. But consistency, emotional depth, and real masculine presence, that's rare. That's you. And that's exactly why she's coming back. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Let's break it all down. Why her new guy won't last, and why your silence is the most powerful move you've made yet. Number 1, the allure of newness fades quickly. At first, the new guy probably feels like a breath of fresh air. Unfamiliar, exciting, full of promise. The thrill of novelty can be powerful, even intoxicating. But over time, that shine fades. What once seemed mysterious starts to feel routine. What felt like passion turns into something shallow and fleeting. Many people chase that high, mistaking infatuation for something real. But you're not like most people. You're not driven by the need for validation or quick emotional hits. As a stoic man, you've learned that true value doesn't come from temporary excitement. It's found in character, consistency, and calm strength. You don't try to impress her with a show. You impress without trying because you're steady, you're grounded, you're real. He might offer her thrills, but what happens when life gets messy? When charm wears off and the excitement fades, what's left? That's when she'll start to notice the difference. Maybe she'll remember how safe she felt around you, how you made her feel seen, not just entertained. Maybe she'll recall the way you handled pressure, not with frustration, but with quiet resolve. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." You didn't fight her decision. You didn't collapse or chase. You accepted it with grace, turned inward, and focused on becoming stronger. You let go, not because you didn't care, but because you respected both her choice and your own peace of mind. That's what sets you apart. While he scrambles to keep her attention with flash and novelty, you're building something lasting. You're not caught up in the game. You've already outgrown it. She may have been drawn to the excitement of someone new, but in time she'll feel the lack of substance. And when that emptiness grows louder, she'll start remembering what real stability felt like, what you felt like. By the time she fully realizes what she lost, you may have moved on. Not out of spite, but because you've evolved. You've become even more of the man you were meant to be, anchored, wise, and no longer shaken by who stays or leaves. Number 2, surface attraction can't sustain. It's easy for her to be swept up by a new guy's looks or charm. The way he dresses, the smooth words, the confident energy. It all feels exciting at first. But surface-level attraction is like building a house on sand. When life gets real, when stress, conflict, or challenges hit, it crumbles fast. Sure, his confidence might excite her, and the novelty may feel refreshing, but excitement fades. And without emotional depth or stability, the connection starts to feel hollow. A man's looks might catch her eye, but it's his character that keeps her heart. When that's missing, the illusion falls apart. As a stoic man, you've built something deeper. You've cultivated emotional control and inner peace. You don't get rattled by every setback. You remain calm even when things go sideways. That kind of steadiness, it's rare and it's magnetic because it brings something most kind: real emotional security. While she's out there navigating a guy who talks more than he delivers, she'll remember how you made her feel. Your calm during conflict, your patience when things were hard, your ability to listen without judging. That kind of presence leaves a lasting impression. It lingers. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and yours is dyed with discipline, grace, and strength." You never needed to impress because your consistency spoke louder than any charm ever could. So, when the new guy's mask slips, when his charm starts to feel forced and the thrill fades, she'll start comparing, not because she's looking back, but because she's realizing what she had: your calm, your depth, your quiet strength. Attraction might spark a fire, but only depth keeps it burning. And in that quiet moment of realization, she'll miss you because what you gave wasn't just attention. It was something real, something solid. And deep down, she'll know the truth. You were never just a phase. You were the standard. And if that message resonated with you, even just a little, take a second to like the video. It really helps spread this kind of content to more people who need to hear it. I'd love to hear your thoughts too, so drop a comment below. What part stood out the most to you? Or simply type, "I am the standard." Let's remind each other what it means to lead with quiet strength and emotional depth. Now let's take this one step further. Number 3, pressure breaks the weak. When life's going smoothly, anyone can seem impressive. It's easy to charm, to laugh, to shine when the skies are clear. But the real test of a man's character comes when the storm hits. When pressure, stress, and adversity show up uninvited, that's where the difference between you and him becomes undeniable. He might hold it together when things are light and fun, when it's dinners, dates, and good vibes. But when life gets messy, when things don't go his way, the mask slips. He reacts emotionally, gets defensive, or retreats. His charm fades under pressure. But you've trained for the storm. You've embraced discomfort as a path to growth. You don't react impulsively. You respond with clarity. You remain grounded like a mountain unshaken by the wind. You understand what Seneca meant when he said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. While he scrambles or snaps when things go wrong, your calm composure stands out. You've built emotional discipline through reflection, through restraint, through choosing peace over panic. And that's what she'll remember. She may not see it right away. In the thrill of something new, it's easy to overlook the rare strength of someone who stays grounded. But life always delivers challenges. And when she turns to him for support and finds only chaos, the contrast will be sharp. Because real strength isn't loud. It doesn't boast. It shows up quietly in hard moments. Through steady hands, calm words, and unwavering presence. She'll think back to the times when your calm gave her clarity, when your presence made her feel safe, and slowly she'll realize what she lost. While he crumbles under pressure, you remain composed. And that quiet resilience, the kind that doesn't just impress but brings real peace, that's what lingers in her mind. That's what she'll miss, because in the end, novelty fades. But real strength, that never goes out of style. Number 4, the inevitability of disillusionment. Over time, she'll start to see through his inconsistencies. What once felt captivating will begin to feel hollow, like a house built on sand. The charm fades. The words lose their weight. And the illusion doesn't just dissolve. It collapses, leaving behind a quiet emptiness she can't ignore. At first, he likely seemed ideal. Confident, attentive, saying all the right things. But as the novelty fades, so does his effort. His words no longer match his actions, and the cracks start to show. Because anyone can seem genuine for a moment. The real test is staying true when things get uncomfortable. You, on the other hand, embody something different. Authenticity. Stoicism has taught you that character isn't situational, it's constant. You don't shift your values to impress. You act with integrity because it's who you are, not a role you play. While he tries to hold her attention with charm and promises, you offer something more powerful. Quiet, consistency, honesty, and depth. You don't need to convince her of your value. You show it day after day without noise or performance. Eventually, she'll see the gap between his promises and his actions. The affection he once poured into her will be replaced by frustration or detachment, and that's when your steadiness will come to mind. Not just what you said, but how you always followed through. No theatrics, just truth. She'll remember how you didn't try to win her with flashy gestures. You simply were dependable. You didn't have to say you were strong. Your actions under pressure proved it. As Seneca said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. While he folds under difficulty, you grow, stronger with each challenge. When she realizes his words were meant to impress, not endure, disappointment will settle in. But so will the memory of your integrity, the way your words held meaning, even when no one was watching. Disillusionment is inevitable when someone begins to see beyond appearances. And while he scrambles to maintain his image, you live grounded in purpose. That contrast will become impossible to ignore because real value doesn't demand attention. It earns respect through consistency. And when his illusion fades completely, your authenticity will be the one thing she can't forget. Let that sink in for a moment. Reflect on the kind of man you're becoming, not just in how you show up for others, but in how you stay true to yourself when no one's watching. This isn't about being better than someone else, it's about being better than who you were yesterday. If this message sparked something in you, I invite you to pause and really ask yourself, am I living by my values, even when it's hard? Leave a comment and share your thoughts. Or simply type, I choose consistency over charm. Because in a world full of noise, your quiet strength is what truly echoes. Number 5, chasing validation never ends well. He's constantly chasing her approval, always trying to impress, always trying to say the right thing. His energy is spent performing, hoping she'll validate him. At first, it may seem flattering, but over time, it becomes transparent. Desperation is hard to hide and even harder to respect. People can feel when someone is acting from insecurity. She's no exception. What once felt charming now feels needy. He bends himself out of shape trying to be liked. But all she sees is a man more focused on her validation than on being genuine. That's not love. It's a craving for approval. You, however, operate from a different place. As a Stoic, you've learned that your worth isn't determined by anyone else's opinion. You've built inner peace not from her attention, but from your discipline, principles, and self-respect. And that quiet confidence, it speaks louder than any performance ever could. You don't chase approval. You live by your values and let your actions do the talking. You don't need to prove yourself through grand gestures. You earn respect through consistency and integrity. And that creates a different kind of attraction, one rooted in admiration, not neediness. Marcus Aurelius said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. You meet every situation with reason, not desperation. You're steady, grounded, unshaken by her moods, and unmoved by the need to be constantly affirmed. While he's restless, trying to win her favor, you're calm, comfortable in your own skin. That stillness radiates. It's rare, and deep down she feels it. She might not say it out loud, but she notices the difference. And that's what sets you apart. While he exhausts himself seeking attention, you offer something that doesn't fade: respect, authenticity, and emotional strength. When his charm wears thin, she'll remember your calm presence, the man who didn't need her approval to know his worth, the one who left a lasting impression without ever trying too hard. Number 6. Emotional weakness is unappealing. Adversity reveals true character. Anyone can seem confident when life is easy. But the real test comes when things go wrong. When plans fall apart and pressure rises, that's when the mask slips. And sooner or later she'll see the truth. The new guy may appear composed when everything is going smoothly, but when conflict hits, when the relationship is tested, his emotional weakness will show. What once looked like confidence starts to feel like fragile bravado, frustration, insecurity, impulsiveness. It all comes pouring out. What he doesn't understand is that real strength doesn't perform. It endures. And that's where you're different. As a Stoic, you've trained for the storms. You embrace setbacks as chances to grow, not reasons to break. Your steadiness isn't an act, it's who you are. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." You don't run from discomfort. You grow through it. You respond. With reason, not emotion. You don't crumble. You adapt. And that quiet composure, it's rare. Most never achieve it because they're too busy reacting, avoiding, or chasing comfort. When things go wrong, you don't lose control. You pause, think, and act with intention. And she'll start to notice. She'll feel the difference between someone who reacts impulsively and someone who remains grounded. And with that, questions begin to surface. Can he stay steady when life gets hard? Can I rely on him? She may not see it immediately, but over time, his instability will create distance, while your composure will remain in her mind. Because while he unravels at the first sign of challenge, you stay centered, strong, calm, and clear. And that's what makes you unforgettable. You don't just survive adversity, you evolve through it. That's the kind of strength that not only attracts but earns deep respect. It's the kind of presence she won't forget. Take a moment and really think about that. In a world where so many fall apart under pressure, ask yourself, am I the one who stays grounded when things get tough? This is what separates noise from substance, charm from character. If this spoke to you, let me know in the comments what part hit the hardest for you. Or simply type, "I remain grounded in the storm," because that's the strength that lasts. Now, let's keep going. There's more to uncover. Number 7, his lack of purpose will show. A man without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, drifting, directionless, guided only by what feels good in the moment. At first, that may seem exciting, spontaneous, adventurous. But excitement without direction is empty. Like fireworks, it dazzles briefly, then disappears into darkness. He might win her over with charm and a carefree attitude, but over time, the lack of depth becomes clear. Without purpose, his actions are scattered, his promises inconsistent. He reacts to life instead of guiding himself through it. And when challenges arise, his aimlessness leaves him lost, searching for stability he never built. You, however, are different. You live with purpose. You're not chasing fleeting highs. You're anchored in principle. You've taken the time to define your path, and you walk it with discipline and clarity. You don't just talk about what matters. You embody it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, and you live by that." Every action reflects intention. Your focus, your values, they don't waver for approval or attention. And that quiet strength doesn't go unnoticed. While he chases quick rewards, you build something lasting. Purpose gives you direction. It makes you resilient. You're not reacting. You're navigating. And that creates an energy. She feels a sense of calm and certainty that he can't imitate. Eventually, she'll feel the difference. The thrill of his spontaneity will wear thin.